All right, I asked the TV line readership, the Flash fans, for some questions for you. You ready?
No.
Lauren wants to know, this is an oldie but goodie, did you take anything from the set?
Yes. I took the flash ring. We shot a promo actually where I'm packing up a box and then leave everything behind and take one thing, and it was the flash ring, and then I put it in my pocket and walk away, and at the end after we were done shooting I was like, that's staying in my pocket, is that okay? And they're like, yeah, sure.
John asks, Mr. Gustin, were you not interested in making your hair blonde for the Flash?
I was actually. I pitched to Greg before the pilot that we should do that, and he was like, you'll hate yourself for saying that to me. You'll lose hair, the upkeep is gonna be annoying, you're gonna be a brunette. And I was like, all right, whatever.
Juan wants to know, what was your favorite crossover to film?
Either the Elseworlds, where like we switched bodies, Steven and I, or we didn't switch bodies. We
Sure, Steven wouldn't say that.
Psyches, yeah, because he had to wear my suit.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice outfit. And I honestly forget this was a crossover, but the musical episode. I mean, It didn't feel like it was Flash, but it was probably the most fun I've had.
I'm Superman.
That's a really good impression.
Thanks.
Gonzalo asks, would you wish to do somehow another musical episode? At least to get, put in a call to Melissa Benoist.
And that's the power of
Friendship.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna say.
Yeah, it's an easy rhyme.
Yeah, I mean, we're done now, but once we did it, I was like, I didn't want to do another one in that universe. It felt like it had been done. I'd love to do a musical again, though, at some point, for sure.
Libby from Australia asks, how has being a father changed how you portray Barry?
It's interesting. We'd already been doing the storylines for a couple seasons where we had our forced children, the forces were our children, and it was like so bizarre to me that like they're calling me dad and I'm treating them like children, and I've got a 25-year-old, that Jessica Parker Kennedy, who's acting like she's my daughter, and I've got to be connected to her like I'm her father, and it was always a struggle for me because it's like they're all my age. This is weird, but then even just having an actual daughter and imagining that scenario, it made it a lot easier for me to kind of connect with Jess, like as if she was my grown-up daughter.
JS asks, what was the last day of filming with Candace like?
She might be mad at me for talking about this, but I warned her I would talk about it. So the last scene Candace and I shot together, first of all, she wrapped a day before me and she was like an emotional wreck. And we shot
Wow.
Yeah.
Melrose asks, looking back, what was your favorite West Allen moment?
There's actually a scene that's like popped into my head, and I for the life of me couldn't tell you what the scene is about, but there's a scene in the time vault where I'm in a suit and Candace is in like a red jumper, and I know we're talking about something to do with time travel. That was one scene where I remember she like blew me away with her emotion in that scene.
How long?
How long what?
How long until it happens?
And then two of the three times I think we got married. So like the wedding episode was great, obviously, but before that, the first time we tried to get married and everything went wrong, and it was like a comedic nightmare.
That was fantastic.
That was another good one, yeah.
Peace is overrated.
Oh, you've got to be kidding me.
Nazis?
Ryan asks, if Barry wasn't with Iris, who would he have ended up with, and why is your answer Leonard Snart?
It's funny because Leonard Snart didn't pop into my head, but who did pop into my head was Cisco. I think that like Barry loves Cisco unlike anybody else. So if there's anybody else he was going to settle down with, it probably would have been Cisco.
And then lastly, Maddie asks, are you happy with where Barry ends up at the end of the series?
I am. When I thought about it ending, there was a theory out there that Barry would sacrifice himself to keep the Speed Force alive and become the lightning bolt that inevitably struck him and create this full circle moment.
Okay.
Which I thought was really cool.
Yeah.
And I always kind of wanted him to die a hero's death in a way. And Eric was very opposed to the idea and really wanted to see a happy ending for Barry and Iris. And ultimately, I think that is probably, looking back at this and as fans revisit it, probably how they're gonna want it to end. And it is nice you finish on a happy note. And then there's a bit of the unknown too. It's like the story continues, our show ends, but it's left in a place where the story continues. So who knows, what happens beyond 9/13 of Flash.